Coming up right now, a yoga class gets mistaken for a murder scene, giving new meaning to downward-facing dog.
Also coming up, a woman goes on a manhunt in Manhattan after she strikes out on dating apps. We're going to tell you how it all turns out.
And later, the details on a grandmother forced to tear down her house.
We've got your trending news and entertainment starting right now on Daily Flash.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
Hey everyone, I'm Andrea Jackson.
And I am Mitch English, welcoming you to Daily Flash. We got an hour packed with some fun stuff here. And we all know that some are saying the time to sell and time to buy right now when it comes to houses, depending on where you're at.
Yeah.
If you're going to buy, if you're going to sell, there is a house for sale. I wanted to know if you would actually consider purchasing it. It's in Pasadena, California.
Love Pasadena.
Alrighty. It's a 4-bedroom home, beautiful home, kind of mid-century, not mid-century, early century 2-story house. And it's got 4 bedrooms, a beautiful avocado tree.
Ooh.
But it was also the house where they shot Halloween. The original and even up the 2021 sequel were in it 4 firefighters get killed in it. It's up for sale right now, the actual house.
Really?
$1.8 million is what they are asking for it. And if you remember that one, that Laurie Strode is up there in the window and she looks down and sees Jason all the time.
Yes.
They apparently have broken it down into apartments right now.
Oh,
so there's like
really?
4 different apartments here. Would you buy a Hollywood house? Now, knowing it's not the act, I mean, nothing really happened in it, but it was just a house.
It would be interesting. I know I saw a story about the Brady Bunch house,
Brady Bunch, yeah.
and it was for sale, but it didn't go for as much as they were asking.
They dropped the price.
Yeah, big time. I guess it would depend. I know that the stoop in New York where they shot the Sex and the City opens, they had to put a chain up to block people from taking pictures there because people actually live at this place, and they just used it as a front. It wasn't the actual apartment.
And I think the Brady Bunch house was the same reason.
Thing.
They were having problems. They had so many people come by. They're like, look, if you buy this house, people are going to be coming by here all the time. Is there a Hollywood house you'd ever buy?
There's a couple Hollywood houses that were featured in some of the classic movies. That are like the mid-century modern houses that I love.
That's an old gym. Yeah. I think I would want the Breaking Bad house, and I would just go and I would look, because first off, it's not going to be that expensive because it's just in a regular neighborhood. But I would still check the walls to see if maybe somebody might have put money in there, because Walter White had so much money he didn't know where to put it. Everywhere.
In the basement, everywhere.
Right. Another situation where something possibly could have gone really, really bad, but it didn't turn out that way. Police swarmed a community space in Britain where some local dog walkers mistook a group meditation exercise for a ritual mass murder scene. The Seascape Cafe detailed the unusual incident in a Facebook post, saying that they're happy to report everybody is safe. These are stock photos, by the way. She does look dead, though, right?
She does, yes.
They believe the call was made in good intentions. Here's what happened. The yoga teacher wrote in her Unity Yoga page that police were called because some dog walkers went by. They thought some of the classroom poses looked like a crime scene.
Okay.
Class had already ended by the time the bobbies showed up at the building.
The bobbies.
Do they still call them that?
I think they do.
I just wanted to kind of
nice.
act like I knew what I'm talking about. Police representative confirmed that the officers were called. Turned out to be a misunderstanding. I said good for them, but also, come on. Maybe examine a little bit more before you call the police.
Did the sign not say yoga on the outside?
Did it say yoga as well as a cafe? So
yeah, I mean, I know this is see something, say something, and so you can't fault them for being concerned, but it does seem a little outrageous.
They do mind the gap over there.
They do mind the gap.
Maybe
That's
the
true.
see something, say something hasn't really kind of picked up too much of it.
29-year-old beauty influencer Carolina Geitz, who's been single for 2 years, grew tired of the romance rat race, so she decided to make a sign saying looking for a husband while walking around New York City to see if it would attract any interest. Geitz hit the streets with her cardboard billboard after months of online dating failures. Rather than give up hope, the wannabe bride decided to try and make a personal connection with the help of a higher power. The native of South Asia, who relocated to the U.S. in 2017, reeled in more than 8 million views featuring her husband hunt. In the trending clip, Geitz is seen strutting around, waving her handwritten poster in the air, trusting that a dream lover, a handsome hunk with a beautiful soul, will miraculously appear. And she claims it worked. It took her just 30 minutes of parading the city streets before she met a man. So far, no word on his identity. She says she's choosing to keep his details private for now.
I like how you, at the top of the show, you said about the Manhattan. Reminds me of Coming to America. They went, Akeem wanted to find a queen, so we went to Queens, New York. So if you're looking for a man, you go to Manhattan,
exactly.
right? I love
of course
that
you
idea.
do.
And good for her. She wanted something.
Yeah.
She advertised it, and that's her intention. So if you go, well, I'm just not the marrying type, and you date this girl,
yes,
then it's on you, because she says, I'm looking for a husband.
Bingo, yeah.
So you know what it is.
She's not hiding anything. She looks gorgeous.
And she's gorgeous,
She seems like she's smart. She's got it together. And she got tired of the online dating rat race, so she decided, hey, maybe I should meet someone in person.
Yeah.
What a novel idea.
Yeah, saves you a lot of stress and headache. And you see them, and you know they're right when you see them.
Exactly.
So I love it.
Well, a Florida grandmother is being forced to tear down her treehouse in Miami she's lived in for about 17 years after she racked up $40,000 in fines for unsafe construction.
Oh.
Since 2015, a 72-year-old Shawnee Chasser has had neighbors report her property for code enforcement. Once county reps confirmed her treehouse was not safe to live in, they gave her two options: take it down or bring it up to code. She has decided to stop fighting and will start the process of tearing it down, but she says living indoors is not an option for her. Chasser claims she will build her next outdoor home up to code with the proper permits. The grandmother has always lived outdoors and says she has to hear the rain and the wind at night, saying she's claustrophobic. She also shares her outdoor home with a pet raccoon.
Well, you have to. I mean, if you live in a tree, you gotta. I'm sure there's more than one pet raccoon.
There's more.
You know what, man? It looked nice from what I saw. Yeah. It's unfortunate that she has to tear it down. And some people, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
They're going to do that. There's reasons why those codes are there, I suppose, but it goes to a lot of people's arguments like, this is private property. Why do you care what's coming in? If I'm living up here, I don't know. I can understand it if it causes a danger for somebody else or whatever, but I don't know where that would lie.
It's Miami and South Florida. Hurricanes hit our state, so part of it is probably rationale, right? But you can appreciate the fact that she likes to live outdoors. I mean, who's to say somebody living in a tent in a campground isn't in the same kind of predicament when it comes to weather, right?
If you think, like RVs, I mean, if a hurricane came through and you're in an RV, it's not going to be a great situation to be in either. So.
Yeah.
But kudos to her. It looks great. If you want to come up here and build a treehouse for my kid, I would hire this woman any day.
She might have a career that she never really anticipated. Treehouse design.
There is a whole show, I think, on HGTV or something like that, where he goes around and makes tree houses. I mean, unbelievable tree
bet they
houses.
are.
Like hundreds of thousands.
Are they up to code? Did he get permits?
I don't know. That's the next episode. We'll find out. A Canadian chef known for his knife skills actually broke a world record by chopping 166 slices in 30 seconds while wearing a blindfold.
His name's Wallace Wong. He's a chef and bodybuilder known as the Six Pack Chef on TikTok. Put his chopping skills to the oh my goodness.
Holy cow.
For an episode of the Guinness World Records Italian TV edition, Wong donned a blindfold and chopped some long strips of cucumber into 166 thin slices within 30 seconds. Wong said surviving a bout with cancer at age 17 inspired him to overcome obesity and set goals for his bodybuilding and cooking career. So here at Daily Flash want to see.
We have to look at his finger though. He has a Band-Aid on his finger, so keep that in mind.
That's true. We want to see if we can blindfold two of our producers and see who can chop the most cucucber slices in 30 seconds.
We got Matt and James our competitors
welcome.
Here. You guys both have your blindfolds taken. Matt, where's your cucumber?
There we go.
There you go. Matt keeps his cucumber in his pocket, always ready to go. Gentlemen, can you see anything? So the rules are how many, we do not want you to hurt yourself, how many slices you can cut in 30 seconds.
Oh, geez, James.
James, you don't have to do Stevie Wonder when you do it, all right? Isn't she lovely? I love James took off his glasses to make that's a good idea. All right, so we're going to see how many is the rule, how many they can do, how well they look. All right, you guys ready
and
for
do you have your fingers in the, we don't want anybody to get cut here.
Yes,
or
make
hurt.
sure.
Okay.
Here we go. On 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, Maddie, keep going. You got one. All right, they're a little thick.
Ooh,
maybe you can go a bit. Keep
on
going.
The money.
Keep going. You got to keep those fingers curled in. You got 20 seconds left. 19.
All right, you're getting toward the end.
Look at, wow. Holy.
15 seconds. 15 seconds. Oh, very good. Oh, James is going for the triple cut. Oh my goodness. Down the middle. James Alexander.
5, 4,
quartering it.
3, 2, 1.
Woo! overachiever.
Okay, now I can't say this. Yours are still sticking together a little bit.
Oh, they come apart, buddy. They come apart, buddy.
Matt,
They come apart. Look at that.
That's
Horrible. They
That's
come
not
apart,
bad.
buddy.
Look, they're all still
this-
here
this-
too. So
This is called being a sous chef for my grandfather, for
Yeah,
my mom.
that's what
I've been
it is.
cooking
I don't
for a
wanna
long
lose
time.
James is our winner.
Look,
James
thank
is
you,
our
thank
winner.
you,
Good job.
thank you.
you can keep the cucumber, Matt.
We're
Don't
back
worry about that. You
right
get
after
your
this.
fingers.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. A major shakeup is happening in the music world that could change the way artists get paid for streaming their work. If you think there's a lot of money for streams, take a look at these numbers. For an artist like Rihanna to make $2 million off streaming her music on sites like Spotify, a song must be streamed more than 500 million times. Each time a song is streamed, she makes less than a half of a cent. Joining us to talk about a change in streaming income is media mogul and managing director of Strat America's Seth Schachner. Seth, welcome to Daily Flash.
Great to be here. Good morning.
Talk to me, Seth. How is the streaming industry being shaken up?
So this has been a tough situation for quite some time. Just what we call artist compensation, basically the back end, the royalty pool. And I was pretty involved with this, setting this up for Sony Music many years ago. And I don't think we anticipated now that there'd be so much music available, that there'd be so many ways to get your music up on Spotify. So what's happened over the last decade or so is just that, yeah, to your point with Rihanna and many other artists, it's a little tiny fraction of a penny of a stream. It's calculated against a big pie that includes everything from her to Tchaikovsky, basically. And I think the biggest music label in the world now, Universal, has got something that's called an artist-centric model. And the idea is to not only change artist compensation for the better, but to kind of fight back against kind of everything from white noise to all this crazy AI music that's out there. You can literally put the sound of a washing machine up on Spotify and it gets the same stream as it does a Michael Jackson track. So there's some pretty absurd things that need to be changed. And at a top level, that's sort of what this is all about.
And what does this mean for lesser known artists? Because really they're the ones struggling to try and get some slice of the pie, as you had mentioned, some slice of the spotlight.
Yeah. So no one's going to be happy with any of this, right? There's going to be people that are, going to have issues on both sides of it. I mean, what Universal's doing, and they're doing it with kind of a small, more so European-focused streaming service called Deezer that I would say, in my opinion, they probably have a little bit of a closer relationship with because they're both have a lot of roots in France and Europe, basically. But the idea is to weight streams from artists that I believe have more than just 1,000 plays, if you will, more than just any other stream. So it'll be 2 times more than the washing machine, the sound. But if someone, I believe, actually actively seeks out something, so they literally pull out, whether it's an old, Tom Petty track or, a brand new track from The Weeknd, I believe that's going to get a weighting of 4 times. So the idea is to kind of emphasize stuff that's real and also sort of promoting developing artists, discovering artists as well, as opposed to kind of all the white noise that's on the service. And I think it's a reasonably positive step. And this is a small service, Deezer. This is just a couple of percentage points in the market. So at some point they'll take this to the big gorilla, to Spotify and try and do the same thing.
For someone like Rihanna, how does this increase her digital footprint even more?
Well, so the thing is, the stuff that's never in the press is, every artist has got their own little different deal, their own big deal, their own individual set of circumstances. So, I'm not going to name specific artists, but just say you're an artist that took a big whopping advance check, whether it's to make an album or help you with marketing or make a video from your record label, you're going to have to earn that back. So with those numbers you just showed at the top of this conversation, you may not ever earn it back, or it may take a long time. But in theory, I think it should boost the streaming income, for all the artists that are above 1,000 streams, for sure. Yeah.
And so far this is happening in France. What do you think the chances are that the U.S. will adopt it here?
Well, I think they're going to do it wherever Deezer is, and that's a really good question. But I think what Universal's trying to do, there's a whole set of challenges they and all the other rights holders are facing right now. And streaming income is definitely a big consideration. So I expect they'll try and do this with, everyone from Amazon to Spotify to Apple Music to YouTube to all the others over time. And I think that'll be a positive thing. I think, the other stuff that's happening, a little bit off topic, but there's just been this explosion of kind of AI oriented music as well. And just, you can randomly put anything up on Spotify or some of these services. So I think part of the idea is to kind of get that stuff cleaned up and pushed down, because I don't know if that helps anyone if you're waiting a Radiohead song, right, the same amount as you are just white noise. So I think that needs to get fixed, basically, and I expect that'll happen across sort of the whole music streaming ecosystem.
And let me get your take on that, because right now artificial intelligence is the big focus of the writers and the actors strike and the producer strike. What are the sources of concern for artists? I mean, you've mentioned a number of them, but clearly this is affecting all across the board when it comes to performance arts.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've been at a number of events recently around the music industry conferences, and I think I can sort of speak a little bit collectively. It's very early for music with AI, and I don't know. I mean, it's certainly a threat. For on some levels, if you think about all the fake Drake tracks, the Weekend tracks, the things that have been out there, but there's actually a lot of positive stuff around AI that is quiet under the radar, that producers, songwriters, engineers, everyone in the studio uses, and it helps people in different ways. So it's a mixed set of circumstances. I mean, there's clearly apprehension. I don't get the same sense it's as hot in say music as it is in Hollywood and TV right now. I'm also still a believer that robots and robotic music aren't going to replace our best artists. So I think the temperature is a little bit, cooler than sort of the Hollywood situation. But these industries need sort of some type of copyright law or legislative solution in DC to happen, because I think it's going to be very hard to move forward unless someone says, look, has a clear position around copyrights and AI, which isn't the case right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a longer conversation. Seth, great to chat with you. How can people find you on social media?
Well, you can get me on LinkedIn. It's just Seth Schachner, or I'm also at www.stratamericas.com and all the other platforms as well. Happy to connect.
Seth, thank you so much. For more information on the shakeup in the music industry, head to our website, dailyflashshow.com.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English. Listen, I'm sure you've seen all the signs and you're probably wondering, are gas prices ever going to drop? Well, in today's Car Smarts, Lauren Fix, the car coach, has the answer, well, that no one wants to actually hear.
Could gas prices get any higher? Yes, they can, and it's expected that gas and diesel prices will continue to increase. Federal officials are looking for ways to reduce the pain at the pump as gas and diesel prices continue to soar. As Americans get ready for road trips, not just for Labor Day, but throughout the whole year, all drivers need some relief at the pump because everything is getting more expensive. Congress is looking at a 3-month pause on its federal gasoline and diesel taxes, but that doesn't seem likely. The 18.4-cent federal gas tax, which helps fund infrastructure work, could be dropped if Congress voted to approve that. Congressmen on both sides of the aisle are not likely to agree and reject the White House effort to suspend the federal gasoline tax. Now, drivers once again are feeling this pinch like we had last year and the year before when fueling their vehicles, with the average price of a gallon of regular gasoline in the U.S. jumping from $3.83 to $4.60 depending on what grade. That's up nearly 30 cents from a month ago. And diesel, its average is $4.36. Again, that's up as well. Even though prices are climbing everywhere, the steepest increases are in the Midwest states, which have seen their average gas prices rise between 18 cents and to 25 cents, according to AAA. To be clear, gas prices today are nowhere near the high they were in June of 2022. And when they reach a record high of $4.62 a gallon, that's when we got a real problem. Typically, when gas prices increase, the main culprit is the cost of oil. And this month, however, oil prices are only part of the story. And here are 3 reasons gasoline prices are going up. High temperatures. We're all seeing high temperatures, and July was one of the hottest months on record for many parts of the nation, including Arizona, Texas, New Mexico, and even Michigan had some very high temperatures. Phoenix, for example, had a record-breaking 31 straight days at 110 degrees during the day. Such high temperatures meant oil refineries had to reduce their output, as many of them could only operate at temperatures between 32 and 95 degrees. And the reduced output sent gas prices higher, and this is all according to Andrew Gross of AAA. Rising oil prices and crude oil prices have recently hovered around $80 a barrel. That's up from $70 a barrel just a month ago. And when global oil prices climb, gas prices typically follow suit. Oil prices are climbing in part because Russia, the world's third biggest oil producer, decided last month to cut production starting in August. And yes, we're still getting oil from Russia, but OPEC has also decided to reduce oil production. It's important to note that analysts at investment bank USB expect crude oil prices to increase $85 to $90 a barrel in the coming months amidst rising oil demand. This is going to make prices at the pump much higher for everybody. Falling oil production from Saudi Arabia, the second largest oil producer, also cut its oil exports last month, and we are still getting oil from them, and it slashed production by 1 million barrels per day, hoping to keep oil prices elevated because they make more money that way. What this really means is higher gas prices for us until we decide to drill more oil here and become energy independent like we had in the past. Now, even if you don't own a gasoline-powered vehicle, you're going to pay the price as goods are constantly being transported by gasoline and diesel-powered vehicles. That means everything's about to get more expensive. Make sure to check your budget. I'm Lauren Fix, and you can find this information on my website, carcoachreports.com and dailyflashshow.com.
Lauren, thank you. Follows on approach, and after a summer of heat and styling damage, it's time to get our hair back in healthy shape. Here to help us say I do to a new do is celebrity hairstylist and styling expert for Sally Beauty, Gregory Patterson. Hi, Gregory.
Thanks for having me. This summer, we've all put our hair through the ringer with heat styling, ocean and pool water, sun damage, you name it. But it's time for a change, and to get there, we have to start with a true healthy base. So whether you're looking for the season's latest runway styles or looking to go bold to enter a new era, you want to be sure your hair is in its healthiest form. Repair and replenish your hair from the season's changes with Bombbar, an award-winning affordable hair care line that rebuilds broken bonds for happier, healthier hair. Bombbar's core repair system for all hair types has results in just one use. It protects, repairs, and hydrates hair. The line just launched some new additional care products, including Bombbar's Bonding Detangling Spray, Bonding Leave-In Conditioner, Bonding Curl Cream, and first to market, Bonding Blue Shampoo. On and off the runway, it's all about fabulous, rich, and nourished colors this season. The Bombbar collection, after thousands of rave reviews of their initial launch, just released 30 shades of permanent hair color that delivers bonding technology to strengthen, condition, repair hair fibers, and reinforce bonds while giving you 100% gray coverage. With a healthy hair base, you'll be able to create and maintain your next shade with ease and confidence that you're addressing frizz, dryness, and more without breaking the bank or your hair. Head on over to your local Sally Beauty or sallybeauty.com to check out all of the latest Bombbar offerings and styling essentials and keeping your hair healthy and replenished this fall.
This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hi, everybody. I am Mitch English.
I'm Andrea Jackson. This is Daily Flash, your source for trending news and entertainment. So, Mitch, I got to ask you, do you ever use those food delivery services?
Not as much as I used to. Like when I was single, I did a lot, but not so much. But when Liza's out of town, I will.
Story making headlines today out of Miami, Florida. A son and his mom ordered some DoorDash. The guy shows up at their house, $30 bill. They left a $3 tip. They have one of the Ring cameras, right? They see him drop the bag of food on the doorstep. He takes a picture of the food. Then he steps back. He spits on the food 3 times and then mumbles something underneath his breath, all caught on camera. And then the DoorDash driver takes off.
You know, see, that's why I worry. Well, a $3 tip is the reason why. I'm certain.
That's what the son and his mom were assuming, yeah.
I mean, a 10% tip on that. And, you know, listen, you're talking about people's food, first off. I mean, what?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a you can go to jail for something.
You
doing
can,
that
yes.
And they got it on camera. And nowadays, everything is on camera everywhere, no matter what. And I can understand your frustration, but guess what? Your next one, you might have got $12 tip.
It all evens out in the wash. That's a great point.
Man.
So the teen initially contacted DoorDash and they didn't respond. And then he finally got a hold of somebody in customer service and has told him that DoorDash driver has been fired.
We should be, yeah. I mean, I think there should be some type of criminal charges.
There could be. You never know.
I think they should, absolutely so.
Police swarmed a community space in Britain when some local dog walkers mistook a group meditation exercise for a ritual mass murder scene. Not sure how you confuse the two.
How do you go from there to there? Okay.
The Seascape Cafe detailed the unusual incident in a Facebook post saying they're happy to report everyone was safe and well. And of course, this is stock footage you're saying. And they believe the call was made with good intentions. The yoga teacher wrote on her Unity Yoga Facebook page that police were called when some local dog walkers mistook classroom poses for what looked like a crime scene.
Oh my gosh.
The class had already ended by the time police arrived at the building. A police rep confirmed officers were called to the building for what turned out to be a big misunderstanding.
You know, I started going to these sound baths. You know what those are?
No.
Yeah, they make a noise, and you lay down, and they make noise,
Okay.
and the guy talks, and and it's actually very relaxing. The problem with that is that I get too relaxed, and and then I'm like, I can't get relaxed because I know what happens when I get too relaxed and I fall asleep. You know where I'm headed?
Yes, I know where you're.
So now in this situation, that's why I stay away from yoga, because there's poses, man, that when you look like you're dead, is there a pose for that? Like downward?
Lying pose or I don't know. Yeah.
Downward casket or something? But before I would call the police, I would look. I go, are you sure?
Yeah,
You haven't moved in a few minutes. Are you sure? I know. And kind of investigate a little bit of it. But hey, we wouldn't be talking about it if it didn't happen.
That is true.
Finish it all out. All right, but good for them that at least they thought they saw something.
See something, say something.
Yeah, there you go. 29-year-old beauty influencer Carolina Geitz. She's been single for 2 years, grew tired of the romance rat race, so she decided to make a sign saying, quote, looking for a husband while walking around New York City to see if it would attract any interest. Well, she gets hit in the streets with her cardboard billboard, and after months of online dating failures, rather than give up hope, the wannabe bride decided to try and make a personal connection with the help of a higher power. The native of South Asia relocated to the U.S. in 2017, reeled in more than 8 million views featuring her husband Hunt. Look at that.
Okay.
That guy taking her away. In the trending clip, she is seen strutting around, waving her handwritten poster in the air, trusting that a dream lover, a handsome hunk with a beautiful soul, will miraculously appear. She claims it works. It took her just 30 minutes of parading the streets of New York before she met a man. No word right now of his identity. She says she's going to keep his details private. I wonder if it's the guy that carried her away.
Could have been. You never know. It reminds me of Guy with a Sign. Have you seen that
yes,
guy
and
on
he changes
social?
it every day. And now there's copycatters.
Yeah.
But what about the guy who he put up his resume? He said, and he got a job. And I'm like, look, if that's what it takes, to me, that's impressive. Like, you'll do whatever it takes to get a job. All for you, and the same goes for her. If she wanted somebody, told somebody.
I think this speaks volumes to meeting someone in person because she'd done all the online dating apps and had no success. So maybe there is something to be said for meeting somebody one-on-one.
Hey, well, you're putting your intentions out, and it'll be out there. Why not? Hey, we are going to take you and give you some life, love shopping coming up with this lovely lady. All that's coming up right next.
Let's do a little life love shopping. Plastic pink flamingos are the latest kitsch turned secret code for sexy playtime. Road tripper Nancy Dixon recently revealed the secret meaning behind pink lawn flamingos in a report for RV Travel. She says an RV neighbor told her about the true meaning behind the flamingos, code for swingers camp here. Did you guys hear me? Swingers get pink plastic flamingos. Well, earlier this year, the Miami Herald also confirmed that having one in your front lawn could also be a call to all those who are open to swing culture. Nancy says you can also add pineapples and loofahs to the list as a signal that you're into some sexy swapping. Who knew about the pink flamingos? Well, Shayna Aldwick, she flips furniture and showcases her DIY projects on social media with the handle The Flipped Piece. She's got a great IKEA hack for a workbench. Take a look.
I turned 2 IKEA Kallax units into the workbench of my dreams, and let me show you how. I thrifted 2 of these Kallax units, so I first started by sanding and cleaning them, and then I went to the store and bought some brackets. I got some No More nails and I used that to attach the two pieces together, and also did the same thing with the brackets all throughout the piece to secure and make sure that these two were stuck together and not coming apart anytime soon. Next, I traced the edge of a paint jar and I used my jigsaw to round off those sharp edges so I wouldn't poke myself. I then smoothed out the top, and then the piece looked like this. Then I used gator hide. This is a very tough wearing top coat, and I sealed the top of my unit with this so it would be really easy to work on and not scratch as much. Then I had some spare hooks and I attached them to the side to hang things on. After the piece was drying, I turned it on its side and I attached these snap lock legs, which meant that I could easily move this huge unit and I can lock them back in place when I wanted it to be sturdy again, like so.
Such a cool idea. Well, you're driving home and you think, why not treat myself? Well, if this sounds like you're likely part of the treat culture. Inflation and out of control prices from everything from gas to groceries has many of us looking for the simple pleasures in life. Maybe it's a latte or a frozen lemonade. Could be a lipstick or a hand cream. You might even consider a cheesy reality show a little self-indulgence. Experts say treat culture has the same feel-good vibes as retail therapy, but without the giant credit card hangover, if you know what I mean. Well, candy fans received some surprising news when the true meaning of Twix was revealed. Have you heard about this? Well, Fuji on Twitter wanted to confirm the name was short for twin biscuit sticks. Mars, the maker of Twix, responded with close, and then replied that the name is actually short for twin sticks. The two bars of caramel and shortbread covered in chocolate came to the U.S. in 1979. We're going to stick with the candy theme here. Candy fans on social media lost their collective minds when a chef known as @ChefCootie posted a quick video on the proper way to eat Toblerone chocolate. Now, you're supposed to push the triangle inward, not bend it out. Believe it or not, his clip has racked up 50 million views. And while we're on the topic of candy we love, any idea why a Snickers bar is called a Snickers? Well, here's another one for your candy trivia bank. The popular chocolate bar was named after a racehorse owned by the Mars family who founded Mars Inc. to honor their horse who unexpectedly died. They chose to call their latest candy bar Snickers at the time. The chocolate peanut caramel treat hit stores in 1930 for 5 cents. One last story for you. Wind Down Wednesdays could become a Monday through Friday event when you hear this next story. According to new research from the University of Florida, a certain type of red wine can make a person's skin look younger. Researchers found women who drank 2 glasses of non-alcoholic muscadine wine daily had more elasticity and water retention in their skin. This is a first of its kind study using non-alcoholic wine in a random trial focused on skin health. Stay with us, much more straight ahead.
It's furry friends time, and what better time than fall to get outdoors and have adventures with our pets. Dog lovers JoJo Fletcher and Jordan Rogers, reality TV stars from The Bachelorette, are teaming up with Purina Prime Treats to launch the Everyday Adventure Guide filled with tips for having fun with your canine companions. Welcome, JoJo and Jordan.
Hey.
So, guys, why the Everyday Adventure Guide?
Well, anybody that knows Jordan and I know that we are huge dog lovers. Obviously, we have 2 of our own, Jackson and Jagger. And we're always looking day to day for just different dog-friendly experiences that we can have with our own dogs. So we teamed up with Purina Prime Dog Treats, and we put together this Everyday Adventure Guide that's just sharing our own experiences, our daily activities that are pretty easy and attainable to hopefully empower and inspire other dog owners to infuse that same excitement and exploration into their dogs' lives, because we recognize just the bond that it creates when you do those, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, bigger activities with your dogs. It's a bond strengthener.
And they run our household, so they forced us to do this.
Of course, of course.
What kind of?
Kind of.
So, Jordan, why is it important to plan quality time with the pets, and what are some of the benefits of spending time with them?
Yeah, I think we created this Everyday Adventure Guide with Prime to really educate that it doesn't matter how big or small the adventure.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a walk around the neighborhood for 5 or 10 minutes, or it could be a trip to the PARK. And yes, I had to spell it because our dogs are in the vicinity. And if you're a dog owner, you realize there's certain trigger words, and they'd be up in my lap right now if I said that one out loud. So no matter how big or small, it's really beneficial for not just your bond with your animal, but also their health benefits. So we have some expert opinions in there from one of Purina's veterinarians on some of the health benefits as well. But let alone, they just love us a lot more when we take them to those adventures.
And where can we go to get that information?
Yes, you can go to purina.com/prime adventure. You can check out the whole adventure guide there. We got a lot of tips and tricks and places and
check out the dog treats, their dog's favorites.
And the dog treats that they absolutely love, a whole assortment of them.
That's awesome. We'll have that on our website at dailyflashshow.com. Thank you guys both for being here. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt. Well, a very important change is coming for airplane bathrooms. The U.S. Department of Transportation is now requiring single-aisle airplanes to have accessible lavatories for people with disabilities. Joining us now to discuss is the Chief Policy Officer at Paralyzed Veterans of America, Heather Ansley.
A lot still needs to be done to make air travel more accessible. Right now, the process doesn't meet the needs of passengers with disabilities, particularly those that use wheelchairs. And it can be, at best, it can be frustrating, and at worst, it can be unsafe. And we really need to make sure that passengers don't have to deal with damaged wheelchairs. They don't have to deal with injuries, poorly trained assistants, all things they have to deal with now. And that's why Paralyzed Veterans of America is advocating with Congress that they include meaningful disability-related provisions in the pending FAA Reauthorization Act. And that includes continuing the research into allowing individuals to fly while in their wheelchairs. For more information, you can go to pva.org/air travel. There you can learn more about the work that we're doing. You have an opportunity to send a letter to your members of Congress, and you can also learn more about our campaign, Just Plain Wrong.
All right, let's jump into our parenthood. If your kids are picky eaters, chances are mealtimes can be really stressful. So here are some tips on how to avoid that mealtime madness is parenting expert, our favorite, Katerine Sellery. Hi, Katerine.
Hey, I'm so glad to be back. Nice to see you.
We're so glad to have you here, and so glad we're talking about this very appropriate discussion, because I think every family has at least one of them. If you have multiples, maybe even the one kid you have might be it. We're talking about picky eaters. You have 3 tips for parents of picky eaters, and I want to start off with the first one. No punishments or rewards. What does that mean?
It means it's vital parents don't force their children to eat. Many parents feel it's necessary to say no dessert without your veggies. I think we've all heard that. Or you have to finish everything on your plate before you leave the table. And parents think that this is like a good thing to do. Their intentions are solid. But these statements are actually risky, because we want their children to eat enough of the right types of foods. Everybody does. But this kind of dialogue can create a toxic relationship to food.
Okay, well, kids are excellent at bargaining. And is this where we turn around and not bargain with them, or just say, all right, but there has to be some kind of consequence if they don't, right? Or am I wrong in that thinking?
Yeah, I think there's maybe a tweak around that thinking.
Okay.
Because what we don't want to set up is an eating disorder. I mean, everything is really around that, in that kids have a healthy self-concept. And how to help parents right now is to guide them in those conversations. So let's talk about how to frame these conversations.
Okay.
So conversations with kids should be focused on healthy and balanced eating, staying active rather than around weight and obesity.
And this is your second tip, right?
Yeah, right. This is tip 2. So these can begin as early as when children begin eating solid foods and feeding themselves. The focus should not be around weight. It shouldn't be around looking a certain way, because everybody's body is different. So rather, it's important to teach children that food fuels their body for energy, and that it's all about feeling well.
Okay. Finally, you say about modeling and exposing. Now, I do that on the weekends, but we're talking about dinner. I'm sure it's a completely different thing, right?
Slightly different, but all our kids are looking at us and they're learning from us. What we do is really how they learn. So at meal times, model healthy eating, balanced diet. They'll learn that by watching you. It's absolutely crucial. So because they learn this behavior from us, it's really important that we model it. In the same way, we demonstrate the importance of regular exercise by modeling that. Active lifestyles, equally important. Expose children to a variety of foods, meals, activities, sports. All of this is so important so that they can discover healthy habits on their own, with some, bandwidth around exploration, but with you as a really solid model.
And I think you might have told me this before in our discussions, is why not have them involved in dinner? I would imagine if they're involved in dinner, they're going to be more apt to want to be able to eat it, and they'll finish it, I would imagine, because it's their own creation. But what do you say? It's the starving children in China syndrome, where as a parent, we're like, we don't want to waste. I mean, how do we get around that? I mean, I'm sorry, that's going to be embedded. I know I had to finish my plate my whole life, and I think it led me to a weight problem, 100%. I felt like even when I go out, I have to literally tell myself, I don't have to finish this. But what about that scenario that I just mentioned?
I think it's so important. I think we all grew up with that. I did too.
Yeah.
And you're right. It does lead to eating disorders, because what we want our children to do is eat until they're full.
And that's basically, you'd want to ask them that. And just say, do you feel full? And again, no punishment if they don't.
Full.
Okay.
We want, we just keep wanting kids to learn to touch into what's right for them.
All right.
So you can have one body type that's not full yet. You can have another body type that needs more. I mean, obviously, really big guy is going to need more. I had a son, and we'd eat dinner, and then I'd say about 45 minutes later, he's like, so what's for dinner, Mom? And you're like, what, are you kidding me?
Exactly. They'll eat and eat. We love you having you on. FreeParentingBook.com for more details. Thank you, Katerine.
Thanks.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. It is the furious drama following the rise of a fictional 1960s Midwestern motorcycle club through the lives of its members. This is today's must-watch movie, The Bike Riders.
I've been thinking, I can't run this club forever. I built this from nothing. This is our family. You and me, kid.
From the beginning?
Yes, please.
It was the golden age of bike riders. And I never felt so out of place in all my life. That's when I saw him for the first time. It took my breath away.
I'm Benny.
5 weeks later, I married him. I thought I could change him, Not to be different, but to be, I don't know, like he's wild.
Hey!
I told you to take that jacket off.
You'd have to kill me to get this jacket off. What about the bar? Burn it down.
The club got real big real fast. They started running drugs, gambling, prostitution.
Is that what this club is now?
I want you to quit riding.
Don't ask that. Benny. I need you.
You can't have him.
If he wants to ride a bike, he'll ride a bike. Hey, just think it over,
Love period pieces like this, and that's such a cool time in history in my mind as well. And Michael Shannon, I love him.
Yeah, he's in it. Tom Hardy, I love him.
Tom Hardy, I mean,
yes. Oh my goodness.
That sounds like a fun one.
It does. It looks good, and I love the styling, the James Dean kind of era of 1965 with the slick back hair.
We need some of that.
Yeah.
Kind of the look back. We need more of you tomorrow,
Yes.
all right? Well, you join us. That does it for the show. Here's the folks that put all this together.
Look at those
we'll have more Flash
beautiful people
tomorrow.